And then, huh? Hopefully we're working now. That was weird. But thank you to those of you who are giving me the heads up. I don't know, maybe YouTube's having a weird day. Maybe it's one of those days where it's got some kind of glitch going on. All right, well, it looks like it's working to me right now. But I'm gonna continue. I'm gonna double, triple check. You know the drill. Make sure the sound and everything's good on this one. On this one. Weird. Weird. What's going on? Why am I hearing that in my headphones? Okay, well, I know the sound's working. Hmm. Man, technical difficulties indeed. Okay, don't want to do that. That's really weird. I wonder if YouTube's like changing things around right in the middle of while I'm trying to do this. Well, sometimes that's how it goes. See, the tarot was right. Yet again, I'm gonna have to put in some extra work, I guess, to make it happen today. No biggie though. Welcome in everybody just coming in. Sorry, we had a hiccup on the first try, and so we're gonna have to try to do our best with this one. Welcome in everybody. Great to see you all. Hold on 1 minute. I'm gonna have to try a sound check again because I don't want to hear my echo coming back at me, but I want to make sure this. I'm gonna have to try a sound check again. Oh, it seems like it's working. Hear my... Yeah, okay. Well, I think we got it figured out. Good enough. So welcome back, everybody. We tried it once. We had a little bit of a screw up. So this is Jay Baldale, ready to bring you more of Éliphas Lévi's Transcendental Magic. We had gotten to the point of a tarot pull like we do, and then I don't know what happened. Something happened and the service screwed up a bit, but no biggie. So the card we had pulled was this one here, the Three of Discs. And so as I was saying from in the last stream, the we see the Bina here, we see as well as in the Kingdom of Earth. So we see the Queen and the Princess here. So we kind of see both of those echoes of formation, you could say. The wheels here that look like the steering wheel, the not the rudder, the rudder is the part in the water that steers, right? What's the wheel? The mast? Is that what it is? No, the mast is what the sails are on, huh? Okay, well anyway, the ship's wheel. That's what it looks like, steering, and also kind of like the wheels you see sometimes in Buddhism. And we see that you got the mercury, sulfur, salt on them. So we see those alchemical representations of the three gunas on here. And then Mars. So, yep, we definitely had our work cut out for us getting this stream to work. And I was saying that, so that might be what you're finding today, too. That might be the energy you're finding, is that it's one of those days where you've just got your work cut out for you. A little more on the Shiva or the destruction side of the three. feeling the heaviness of it a bit, the weight of it, feeling like the turbulence of the sea, like we see in the card here, that sea, and it's just shaking left and right. But we're gonna do our best to stay fixed, to remember that these three ultimate principles, this great trinity underneath everything, well, it's in that constant state of flux, right? So even if today's one of those days where the work's cut out for us, that doesn't mean that's the way it's going to stay. And oftentimes those days are the ones that pay off a lot in the long run. So that's the energy today. That's the tarot pull as we get back into our study of Éliphas Lévi's Transcendental Magic. Welcome, welcome everyone. Always great to have you guys here. And yesterday we had gotten into that biographical preface. So if you missed it, go check it out because it definitely is worthwhile to get a bit of the biographical understanding of these different characters, these different magical authors, and just contributions to magic and esotericism. But also, if that doesn't really float your boat, then I don't, it's not like you're not going to suffer without it. I don't think. Maybe you will. I don't know. I guess it depends on you, more or less. And I showed yesterday though, so I'll show it again in case you don't go check out this cool one of the first images in here, that great symbol of Solomon, the macro prosopis and the micro prosopis. So this could even be kind of what we saw in that tarot card a little bit today, although we could call this one more the king and the prince version because it's showing that masculine side of it rather than that feminine side of it. The creator beholding himself, the god of creation and the god of reflection. Powerful meditation tool, just like all the tarot, a lot of these magical images, these drawings, when meditated upon, when scryed upon, contemplated, can provide much benefit to the practitioner. Well, all right then. Let's do it. Let's get into this introduction. Behind the veil of all the hieratic and mystical allegories of ancient doctrines, behind the darkness and strange ordeals of all initiations, under the seal of all sacred writings in the ruins of Nineveh or Thebes, on the crumbling stones of old temples and on the blackened visage of the Assyrian or Egyptian Sphinx, in the monstrous or marvelous paintings which interpret to the faithful of India the inspired pages of the Vedas, in the cryptic emblems of our old books on alchemy, in the ceremonies practiced at reception by all secret societies, there are found indications of a doctrine which is everywhere the same and everywhere carefully concealed. Occult philosophy seems to have been the nurse or godmother of all intellectual forces, the key of all divine obscurities, and the absolute queen of society in those ages when it was reserved exclusively for the education of priests and of kings. It reigned in Persia with the Magi, who perished in the end, as perish all masters of the world, because they abused their power. It endowed India with the most wonderful traditions, with an incredible wealth of poesy, grace, and terror in its emblems. It civilized Greece to the music of the lyre of Orpheus. It concealed the principles of all sciences, all progress of the human mind, in the daring calculations of Pythagoras. Fable abounded in its miracles, and history, attempting to estimate this unknown power, became confused with fable. It undermined or consolidated empires by its oracles, caused tyrants to tremble on their thrones, and governed all minds either by curiosity or by fear. For this science, said the crowd, there is nothing impossible. It commands the elements, knows the language of the stars, and directs the planetary courses. When it speaks, the moon falls blood red from heaven. The dead rise in their graves and mutter ominous words as the night wind blows through their skulls. Sick, that sounds like Black Dahlia murder lyrics. Mistress of love or of hate, Occult science can dispense paradise or hell at its pleasure to human hearts. It disposes of all forms and confers beauty or ugliness. With the wand of Circe, it changes men into brutes and animals alternately into men. It disposes even of life and death, can confer wealth on its adepts by the transmutation of metals and immortality by its quintessence or elixir compounded of gold and light. Very sick. Okay, then. Such was magic from Zoroaster to Manes, from Orpheus to Apollonius of Tyana, when positive Christianity, victorious at length over the brilliant dreams and titanic aspirations of the Alexandrian school, dared to launch its anathemas publicly against this philosophy, and thus forced it to become more occult and mysterious than ever. Moreover, strange and alarming rumors began to circulate concerning initiates or adepts. They were surrounded everywhere by an ominous influence, and they destroyed or distracted those who allowed themselves to be beguiled by their honeyed eloquence or by the sorcery of their learning. The woman who they love, excuse me, the women whom they loved became striges, and their children vanished at nocturnal meetings, while men whispered shudderingly and in secret of blood-stained orgies and abominable banquets. Bones had been found in the crypts of ancient temples. Shrieks had been heard in the night. Harvests withered and herds sickened when the magician passed by. Diseases which defied medical skill appeared at times in the world, and always, it was said, beneath the envenomed glance of the adept. At length, a universal cry of execration went up against magic. The mere name became a crime, and the common hatred was formulated in this sentence: magicians to the flames, as it was shouted some centuries earlier, the lions with the Christians. Hmm. It oh, now the multitude never conspires except against real powers. It does not know what is true, but it has the instinct of what is strong. It remained for the 18th century to deride both Christians and magic, while infatuated with the disquisitions of Rousseau and the illusions of Cagliostro. Science, notwithstanding, is at the basis of magic, as at the root of Christianity there is love. And in the gospel symbols we find the word incarnate, adorned in his cradle by three magi, led thither by a star, the triad and the sign of the microcosm, and receiving their gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh, a second mysterious triplicity, under which emblem the highest secrets of the Kabbalah are allegorically contained. Christianity owes, therefore, no hatred to magic, but human ignorance has ever stood in fear of the unknown. The science was driven into hiding to escape the impassioned assaults of blind desire. It clothed itself with new hieroglyphics, falsified its intentions, denied its hope. Then it was that the jargon of alchemy was created, an impenetrable illusion for the vulgar in their greed of gold, a living language only for the true disciple of Hermes. Extraordinary fact. Among the sacred records of the Christians, there are two texts which the infallible church makes no claim to understand and has never attempted to expound. These are the prophecy of Ezekiel and the Apocalypse, the two Kabbalistic keys reserved assuredly in heaven for the commentaries of the Magian king. Books sealed as with seven seals for faithful believers, yet perfectly plain to an initiated infidel of the occult sciences. And this footnote says most of these footnotes are worth reading, but there are a couple that we can skip over. According to his posthumous work, Le Mystère de la Kabbale, Lévi not only regarded the apocalypse as a key to the Kabbalah, but as a symbolical epitome of the science of initiate. All right, then. Well, we're that was my plan to do either Book of Revelations, Book of Ezekiel, or Genesis. Probably the next time we pop in and try to extract what we can from the Bible. If you haven't checked out the Song of Solomon I did, go check that one out and see if you get anything out of it. There is also another work, but although it is popular in a sense and may be found everywhere, this is of all most occult and unknown, because it is the key of the rest. It is in public evidence without being known to the public. No one suspects its existence, and no one dreams of seeking it where it actually is. This book, which may be older than that of Enoch, has never been translated, but is still preserved unmutilated in primeval characters on detached leaves like the tablets of the ancient. The fact has eluded notice, though a distinguished scholar has revealed not indeed its secret, but its antiquity and singular preservation. Another scholar, but of a mind more fantastic than judicious, passed 30 years in the study of this masterpiece, and has merely suspected its plenary importance. It is, in truth, a monumental and extraordinary work, strong and simple as the architecture of the pyramids, and consequently enduring like those. A book which is the summary of all sciences, which can resolve all problems by its infinite combinations, which speaks by evoking thought, is the inspirer and moderator of all possible conceptions, and the masterpiece, perhaps, of the human mind. And this footnote says, this monument is the tarot of the Bohemians, the original of modern playing cards. It consists of 22 allegorical letters and 4 series of 10 hieroglyphics each, corresponding to the 4 letters of the name Jehovah. The diverse combinations of these signs and of the numbers to which they correspond form as many Kabbalistic oracles, so that all science is contained in this mysterious book, a most simple philosophical machine, astonishing in the profundity and accuracy of its results. From La Clef des Grands Mystères, it alone explains all mysterious records of high initiation. It is to be counted unquestionably among the very great gifts bequeathed to us by antiquity. It is a universal key, the name of which has been explained and comprehended only by the learned William Postel. It is a unique test, whereof the initial characters alone plunged into ecstasy the devout spirit of Saint Martin. And Saint Martin knew nothing of the tarot, but one of his works is divided as it happens into 22 sections, being the number of the trumps major, and might have restored reason to the sublime and unfortunate Swedenborg. We shall recur to this book later on, for its mathematical and precise explanation will be the complement and crown of our conscientious undertaking. The original alliance between Christianity and the science of the Magi, once demonstrated fully, will be a discovery of no second-rate importance. And we do not doubt that the serious study of magic and the Kabbalah will lead earnest minds to a reconciliation of science and dogma, of reason and faith, heretofore regarded as impossible. Well, that'd be pretty sick. Let's hope so. We have said that the church, whose special office is the custody of the keys, does not pretend to possess those of the Apocalypse or of Ezekiel. In the opinion of Christians, the scientific and magical clavicles of Solomon are lost, which, notwithstanding, it is certain that, in the domain of intelligence, ruled by the word, and this footnote was one of those ones I highlighted even, it should be understood that for Éliphas Lévi, the word is reason, the supreme reason of God and logical understanding in man. The incarnation of God in Christ was the sovereign reason manifested in earthly life and time. Intelligence is eternal, and the life of intelligence is the word.